Hey, Assalamu alaikum. You have no idea. We are again back with you to help in your next job search. Yes, that's true. Last time you learned how to write an effective resume. What should be in resume? It should about you, me, or the benefit someone is going to get from that resume. Is that right? From your next employer, your next boss. Why they should hire you? What benefit they're going to get from you? Because remember, they're going to pay you a good salary package. They need to see what I'm getting out of it. Okay. However, today is not about resume. You probably already covered. If you have not covered that one, go ahead and watch that video first, because today we are covering something else which is even way more important than resume. Everyone has its own place. However, cover letter is very, very important, and I'm not even qualified to talk about cover letter. Why? Because I have not tried to even find my job for last 20 plus years. I'm not a job seeker, I'm a job creator, I'm blessed for this. However, I worked for other companies before, so that way, don't get me wrong, working for someone else, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your choice, we want to help you to find the next job. That's what we're trying to do. For that, with me is Jewel Bracy DeMaio, and she is from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia is the city, and Pennsylvania is the state. Go and Google and try to find who is your mentor, where she is from. And in case you're joining us first time ever and you don't know her, I'm going to ask her to give 100-second, 120-second, 150-second quick introduction. She has worked for years and years. Now imagine that she's going to sum up everything in 150-second. Jewel, go for it. You are on the full screen. And then we are going to get into the cover letter without even wasting one more second on that. Jewel, welcome. Thank you so much as always coming.
Oh, thank you for having me, Sadiq. So, yes, I'd love to share something about myself with your audience so that you all know that I'm expert in what I do, and so that you all understand that I'm giving you solid advice that comes from, years of experience. So, I have been a professional resume writer. I am the resume boss at perfect10resumes.com, and I have operated this professional resume service now for 19 years. This is the 19th year. And what I do for people is I develop from scratch their resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn profiles, executive biographies. Those are the things that I do. And as a portfolio, all of this is called your career marketing portfolio. And one of the things that I specialize in is making sure that your career marketing portfolio says three things. And the three things are who you are, what you do, and the value that you bring. And I talk all about this at perfect10resumes.com. There's a reason that it's important to emphasize who you are, what you do, and the value that you bring. Because most resumes, most of the time, they're kind of like history lessons, or in my industry, we call them career obituaries, because the only thing the resumes do is kind of list all of your history, list your duties and responsibilities. It's not exciting. Nobody wants to read it. But, of course, everybody wants to know who you are. That's the most important thing, because if I had five candidates, five job search candidates, who were all going for the same job, who all had similar backgrounds. And by the way, that can absolutely happen, because the number of people who apply for the same job every day is astronomical. It's at least 1,000 people a day apply for the same job. So, of course, I can have candidates that all do the same thing, all have the same background. If all I wrote was their history, they wouldn't look any different from one another. There'd be no way for them to distinguish themselves from each other. But if we get into who you are, that's very, very unique, because the story is only yours. Nobody else has your story. If we talk about what you do, it's not just the job that you do, because just the job that you do is mildly interesting, but what we really talk about there is how you do what you do, how you think about what you do, why you approach it the way that you do, because all of these are unique as well. And then when I'm writing your resume, when I write the LinkedIn, when I put together the career marketing portfolio for you, the third thing that I center in on is the value that you bring. And so when it comes to value, you have been hired for every job that you've ever had, and it doesn't matter what the job title is. The reason that you get hired is because that business or that company wants you to do something for them that will either make money or save money. There is value in that. So what I do is seek to quantify how much value you have brought to your past employers, and then I make very powerful statements about that when I write the professional resume and cover letter and LinkedIn profile for you, because you have some bottom line monetary value that you bring to the table, and I absolutely want to make sure that your professional marketing materials emphasize that. So what we'll zoom in on today will be the cover letter, but in every piece of your career marketing portfolio, we absolutely want to make sure to concentrate on who you are, what you do, and the value you bring. So those are the things that I emphasize when you come to perfect10resumes.com, and those are the things that I emphasize when it comes to what we're going to talk about today as far as the cover letter.
Thank you so much. Now I know what you do, and in fact, I need a reminder every week from you. You know what? This is 2008. Our time is now. We need to get a job that help millions of people in Pakistan and all around the world. I'm being selfish. Here's all my community. I really want to squeeze every possible information about cover letter. Are you ready? You will be grilled today. Your knowledge is at that
Okay.
now.
Okay. I'm ready.
Ready? Let's go with the first question. I'm going to do something different. Every question I'm going to ask about cover letter, I'm going to display on a screen so you can read it. Okay? This is for
Okay.
people. By the way, don't be stingy while you're trying to learn yourself. Sharing is caring. Go ahead and share it on your profile and other friends who are looking for a job, so we all can learn together. It's a kind of group study together. Okay? Otherwise, my guest may not even come next week. If you want to learn more, go ahead and share it on your profile. So here you go. The first question is, why is the cover letter so important for our candidates to achieve their success with their job search?
Oh my goodness. There are so many reasons, but the primary reason is that you really want to show your humanity in a cover letter. So just a second ago, I was talking about that who you are component, right? So who you are needs to really, really come out in the cover letter. This is where, when I say show your humanity, I'm talking about demonstrating your personality. What goes into your personality as far as the job search is concerned is why you are interested in the particular company that you're targeting. So you need to demonstrate that you know something about them, and then you need to demonstrate that there's something in your personality that matches their, I'll call it a corporate personality, for lack of a better term, perhaps their corporate culture. You like a particular company for a particular reason, okay? So you shouldn't be sending the same cover letter to 50 or 100 different employers. That wouldn't make any sense, because all those employers are different organizations. You like them for different reasons. And so what you want to do in the cover letter, show that personality, and you want to show why that personality is a match for that particular organization. And then you're also going to use the cover letter to touch on the scope of your professional work a little bit, not a whole lot, because obviously that's coming up in the resume. And then the third thing that you want to use that cover letter for is you want to use it to make a connection. And so you want to say to the person, I would like to have an interview with you, or I would like it to be one day next week, or I will call you one day next week, whatever it is that you want to say in that regard. But that's what you want to use the cover letter to say.
Thank you so much. This is great. This is great information. And are you ready for the next one? Again, I'm going to grill you again. Thank you. You have been done so
Okay.
far 10 out of 10 right now. So the
Okay.
next question is, what is the cover letter by definition? Because I have seen many people do not even send a cover letter with their resume. They probably don't even know what the cover letter is.
Okay. So yeah, let's cover this because this is important. Now, the cover letter precedes the resume, comes before the resume. I mean, it comes at the same time, but in the document, it's the first page, and then your resume will be the second or the second and third page. So what is the cover letter? The cover letter is your introduction to the person who's on the receiving end. The cover letter is the introduction to you. It's the introduction to your resume. And most job ads that we see online will ask for a cover letter. It's your opportunity to showcase yourself. It's your opportunity to showcase your writing style. I mean, listen, we are all adults. We're all working adults. We're all educated, minimally high school, and many people university and graduate in school and everything else. But they want to see how you write, which you should be able to do at the level of education that most people minimally have. And so what you're going to write in that cover letter, and the reason that you need a cover letter is because it needs to be something that introduces you, and by doing so, it really sets the tone. It's a little bit of a harsh tone if all you're sending in is the resume, because it's like it's almost like you're starting mid-conversation, like, here is my resume. No, you want to back up a little bit. You want to introduce yourself. You want to show your personality, your writing style, your writing ability. That's everything that goes into the cover letter. That's why you need it. And so when we put those things together, that's what the cover letter actually is.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. You have done your homework today. You are ready.
Yes. Well, listen, I want to make sure to give our audience the latest information possible, because
You know
this
what?
is really going to make a difference when
I
it
am
comes to
so
the job
honored.
search.
I am so honored. Tell your whole family and your grandparents and extended family. I'm so honored to have you with us. Just that because you are helping
Thank
people
you.
to change their life forever. I really mean it. That's coming from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go with the next one. How do your candidates typically get started with a cover letter on a step-by-step basis?
Oh, okay. So this has to do with, let's assume that you have come across an ad online. Okay, so we'll just start there. So with the ad online, the ad is the description of the job. This is how you know that you want the job at all, because you're reading about what the job is. You're looking at all the qualifications that the ad is giving you. You're looking at all the duties and responsibilities that the ad is giving you. And as you're reading this ad, you're saying to yourself, hopefully, all right, well, I can do this. I've done that. I have experience in this, whatever it is. And you decide, all right, well, this is what I'm going to apply for. So we're going to start with the ad. There are other scenarios where you're making a networking contact or something like that. But for simplicity, let's just assume everybody has an ad. Now, what I recommend is that step by step, you're going to take a look at the ad and you're going to ask yourself, what are the main three things that this ad is asking that the person in this job do? Now, do is very important. That's the operative word. The job is a job to do something. It is not an ad about you being something. So the mistake that candidates make, and I see this 10 times a day, every day of the week, the mistake that candidates make is the ad says, well, we want the candidate to be passionate, to be a team player, to be goal-oriented. And then candidates write a cover letter where the first line says, I am a passionate, self-motivated professional. Okay, but that's about being. You can be passionate. You can be self-motivated. No employer writes you a check for being passionate. No employer writes you a check every 2 weeks for being self-motivated. Those are things that you can just be. The employer is paying you every 2 weeks so that you can actually do something. So if the job is, let's just say the job is for a marketing professional, and the first couple of things it says, plan and develop marketing campaigns, launch marketing campaigns into new industries. Those will be two of the duties. Then your cover letter needs to reflect that you can do those things. That has nothing to do with being passionate, being a team player. You want to focus in on what the job is actually asking you to do. So I'd like to see an opening line that says something to the effect of, with 10 years of experience planning and developing marketing campaigns, and then you can finish that sentence because you want to speak their language. The next thing that I want you to do, I led myself into my own next step. The next thing that you want to do is always speak their language. And you know what the language is because they gave it to you in the ad. So they're talking about marketing campaigns, they're talking about marketing strategy. You're looking at the keywords in the ad. And once again, every ad will say team player, every ad will say self motivated. Those are not the key words. You know, a good rule of thumb is if the same keywords are in every single ad, then they're not really keywords for you. So you're looking for the things that say strategic marketing, digital marketing, marketing strategy, marketing data, data and insights, customer segmentation. I'm just trying to think of marketing words off the top of my head. And so all of these things will be right there in the ad. You want to speak their language. So in the cover letter, you want to make sure that your cover letter talks about you having those keywords that they're looking for. The next thing that you want to do in your cover letter is make sure that you demonstrate how you have used these areas of expertise or how you have done these things. You can't have a cover letter that says, well, I know marketing strategy, I know marketing data, I know customer segmentation. Just writing those things in a sentence is not what you want to do. What you want to do is demonstrate. Now remember, I talked about who you are and what you do. In the what you do area, demonstrate how you have used these major keywords. And so you can tell a story. You can talk about how you have formulated marketing strategy for your current employer or your most recent employer, and you want to tell a story of how you did that with success. So you can say something like, for my most recent employer where I'm currently a marketing associate, I contributed to defining a strategy to launch X, Y, and Z product. The story can be as simple as that, and that's what I created, in one sentence. But the point is you want to demonstrate that you've utilized the expertise. You don't just want to say you have the expertise, because a lot of people can say a lot of things about what they have and what they know. You want to demonstrate that you actually know that. The next thing that you want to do in the cover letter is you do want to talk about the value that you bring. So if the marketing campaign led to, let's just say, 500,000 more subscribers, 500,000 more social media likes, $2.2 million, something that you can quantify. And quantifying is important. You'll notice that the first number I gave really was about audience. If you want to quantify audience, that's fine. There are many things that you can quantify. You can also quantify, for example, if something was the first, the largest. First is really better. You can talk about how you played a key role in getting the first account in some industry sector. I had a candidate that I worked with just the other day. We put a cover letter together for her, and one of the things that we said is that she was instrumental in capturing the first federal government account. And this was something that her company had been working on for more than 3 years, something like that, and her company wasn't able to penetrate that government sector, but she came on board, and that's what she was able to do. So you can quantify in that way. You can quantify with money. You can quantify with numbers in an audience. Many, many ways that you can do that, and all of that adds up into the value that you bring to the table. So that's the third thing that you want to concentrate on when you're putting the cover letter together.
Thank you so much. I knew that you're that good. However, you are even way greater than, you're not as good as you think. You are better.
Thank you.
So hopefully you have a breathe time a little bit, and I'm ready with the next question. I'm ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Wonderful. What if any one of our students, candidates, or listeners get started today with the cover letter? What would their life look like in like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year from now?
Oh, my goodness. With a well-written, well-targeted cover letter, you shouldn't even be job searching a year from now. I mean, that's way too long. You know, here's the point of everything that I share with the audience when I talk about, the importance of cover letters and what goes into it and all of that. The point is for your job search to be shorter. Job search should not be this long, painful ordeal that's taking months and months and the better part of a year and all of that. If it is for you, then one of the things that you want to concentrate on, you want to think about, okay, well, why is why is job search taking so long? One of the key reasons may be your cover letter is not good. You don't have a cover letter. You're not writing them. You're not targeting them. And by not targeting, what I mean is you may be sending the same cover letter to everybody, which is wrong. You want to customize every single cover letter every single time. So, what can your life look like in 30 days? Well, you can be employed, first of all. So, the candidates that I support, the candidates that I work with, and I write their resumes and their LinkedIn profiles and their cover letters. So many of the candidates that I work with land new jobs in days and weeks, and they all talk about it on my LinkedIn profile with testimonials and recommendations and things like that, because when your cover letter is done correctly, your job search should be days, weeks. It should be a couple of months. It shouldn't be a thing that's still going on 9 months from now, a year from now, or, heaven forbid, more than a year from now. That shouldn't be happening. So it's so important to make sure that your career marketing portfolio is very, very fine-tuned, because if it's fine-tuned as opposed to mass marketed, as opposed to blasted to every employer all over the place, you'll find the job that you want that much sooner, and your life obviously will be that much better.
Thank you. That's what we wanted to hear that. I was holding my breath on this. So, okay. So my follow-up question to this is, and I'm sure many people get some roadblocks. So what are the specific roadblocks your candidates get typically prevent those candidates from getting started? Because that's the number one reason people fail, because they learn everything, however, they don't get started.
Yeah. The number one roadblock is fear, which unfortunately grips all of us in so many different ways. So the things to be afraid about when it comes to a cover letter, primarily have to do with, well, what am I supposed to write? If I'm not supposed to write, well, I'm so motivated and I'm so, because fear is what keeps us from saying what we really want to say. Fear is what keeps us down so that all we say is the easiest possible thing. And the easiest possible thing to say is, I'm so motivated, I'm so passionate, hire me, that type of thing. That's why everybody does that. And that's why everybody's cover letters tend to look the same. They tend to not be interesting. All of that is fear. And that's a roadblock. It takes some boldness to put in a cover letter, listen, this is who I am as a unique individual, because you are a unique individual. And I do want you to know that, and I do want you to embrace that. You are not a robot. You might be a team player, that's fine, but you wouldn't say that in a normal conversation anyway. Like, you don't sit there, having dinner with your family or your friends and like, well, I'm a team player. It doesn't even make any sense. So there's no reason for you to necessarily have that as a point of emphasis in your cover letter. But because, we're scared and we have fear, it's like, okay, well, let me write the easiest, simplest possible thing. So let's try to move away from that fear a little bit. Another roadblock is there is concern that writing the cover letter for every single instance will take so much time. Now, it does take time, I will say. That is just the truth, and I do like to deal in reality. However, I'd rather see you spend a few minutes on each cover letter. And by the way, that's all it should be. It should be 5 or 10 minutes once you get the hang of it. After you write the first couple, you should be able to customize it for every single job on a case-by-case basis. takes 5 or 10 minutes. It's never going to be a thing where, my goodness, it's taking me an hour and a half to write these cover letters every single time. What am I going to do? I don't have time for this all day. It's not going to be anything that's remotely the long and drawn out process that people are worried about. So don't have that concern. It should only be 5 or 10 minutes, and then you can be off and rolling with the next cover letter or with whatever else you want to do on that particular day in your job search. So don't let the timing be a roadblock. And then I think the third roadblock is, who's going to see this cover letter? Who am I supposed to send this cover letter to? What's always best, 100% of the time, is for you to send your cover letter and address it to a real human being. You don't want to send it to just the company. You don't want to send it to, dear madam or sir. You want to identify a person who can read your cover letter. And so what you need to do is make sure to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is right here at your fingertips. And identify the relevant person, whether they're a decision maker, whether they're in human resources, anything like that. And that is something that also takes a little bit of time, but once again, it's a few minutes. It's not a big, thing where you have to put in a lot of labor or anything like that. It's a few minutes, and identify a relevant human being. So those are 3 roadblocks right there that hopefully, now that I'm talking about them, you can go ahead and get those things out of the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, we are almost there now. There's 2 more questions left, then we are done. See?
Okay.
I told you, you guys are learning from the best, and that's how she is going to do it. And just follow this process. You will be like a way many steps ahead of where you are before learning this. Okay. Here's my next question. What are the specific strategies that are like keys to unlock roadblock those to achieve their wild success in their job search?
Okay. The key to success is stepping out and starting it. Do it. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to start. And so sometimes I think that we all have such a desire to be perfect because somebody else is going to see us. Somebody else is going to see what we wrote. They're going to see us. And so obviously we want that to be the greatest possible thing. But you can't let your quest for being perfect stop you from doing anything at all. Do something, because the letter that you put out will be good. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. If you wait until it's perfect, you will literally never get it done. Make it good. Make it your best effort, and then just go ahead and do it. I encourage my candidates to take a step forward all the time. Take a step forward, because nothing bad is going to happen from you taking a step forward. One of the things I tell my candidates, when they're asking me, should I send this email to this decision maker? Should I make this phone call to this recruiter? Should I do this? Should I do that? One of the things I say is, well, let's think about this. Well, is going to come from this. What negative result? No real negative result. You could not get a call back for the job, which means you're in the exact same position that you were in the first place. Like nothing worse happened to you. But let's say you send that cover letter that's good, even though it's not perfect. You could actually get a call, which is what you wanted anyway. The other thing is, only you in your mind know what perfect is, because you have this vision of what you wanted. But if you think about it, the person on the other end doesn't know what's in your mind. They don't know. If you forgot to say something, the other person doesn't know that you forgot. If you messed up on something that you wanted to say in your cover letter, or you didn't phrase it the right way, the other person doesn't know what the right way was supposed to be in the first place. So put the cover letter together, make it good, and send it. Get into the habit of taking a step forward, because that's how you are going to break down your own roadblocks, really.
Thank you. Thank you. So some people are asking, we have a last question left. Some people are asking, please tell us about a resume. Here's what you need to do. We have done it last week. Last week means last
Okay.
session we have done it. We don't have to talk about resume right now. I'm just answering that question. Go ahead and watch that again. If you don't know, just search for the resume word on this one. We have done it already. So from resume to cover letter, and we don't know what will be next because I don't know this. She is the expert. Okay. So we will figure out the one thing at a time. Let's just focus on a cover letter at this moment. And here's my last question for this. Then we can have a chit chat if we time left. What is the first physical step you want candidates to take to get started with a cover letter?
Oh, okay. What I want you to do here is identify the ads for jobs that you're interested in. And I want you to identify a minimum of 6, maximum of 25. And the reason I'm giving those numbers is because 6 is where you really get the ball rolling, where you can be taking some action. 25 is a good number because it's a healthy number. And listen, you don't have to identify, 300 different jobs. You can't do 300 different jobs. I promise you that. But yeah, you can probably do 25. And 25 is a number of ads that you can read. You can consider them carefully, and then you can decide, yes, I can do these things, or no, I can't, in which you won't apply, and then you'll find another ad. So between 6 and 25 is a good number to get you going. That's the first specific action that I want to see you take. And then after that are the various steps in putting the cover letter together. But I mean, if you want, say, an assignment or homework for today, on this day, between 6 and 25 ads, get them in front of you, save them in your email, wherever you like to save things, and these are going to be the jobs that you're going to apply for. That you can do today.
Thank you so much. Then okay. There's a few questions. We have 8 minutes to cover that. Let's go.
Okay.
Here is the question. Muhammad Anwar Nadeem says, please mention the difference between a traditional cover letter and immediate cover letter to be sent applying for an online job like Upwork and freelance or something, It's not a job, that's a business proposal, basically. That's like they're offering a consulting, service.
Yeah. So actually, if we're talking about something like, if you're applying for an online job like something on Upwork, you're absolutely right, Sadiq. It is a proposal because my understanding of how something like Upwork operates, or there are others, freelance.com, these various things, what happens is some, most likely a business person, let's say, will say they need something done, whatever it is, I need a website done, I need a blog set up,
That's a service
whatever the
request.
different things are.
Yeah, that's a service
Right.
request. So,
Right.
Anwar Nadeem, this is not applicable to that one. And you also mentioned to discuss the elements of a cover letter too. Why this from start? We just covered everything. You are late. Come on, always come on time. Okay, 7 p.m. every Monday in Pakistan and 9 a.m. in Atlanta. That's the time to cover. If you block your time, you will learn everything right to start with. So here is a Sajjad Ali is saying, what's the length of a cover letter? I mean, it consists of words like how big, large, short, big it should be.
Well, so the cover letter is typically a page. It's not a full page. I would guesstimate the number of words, probably 300, 400 words, something like that. Cover letter should be, actually, the way I break it down into paragraphs. So it should be 4 or 5 paragraphs. You don't necessarily have to count the words, 4 or 5 paragraphs. And when I say a page, don't fill up every inch of the page. I mean, a lot of white space, a lot of breathing room. The other thing is, you don't have to get every thought in your mind onto the cover letter. Like, don't cram it in. 4 or 5 paragraphs, a lot of white space, and you're good.
Wonderful. Thank you. So, and then Rana Shahzad say, how can we write a good cover letter? Rana, let me give you a tip. I know the answer. Watch this all over again. Why? Because you started late.
Yes.
We covered it all. Okay. See, I'm a good student. I told you I know the answer on this. So, okay. The Sajjad Wali is saying, very informative discussion. See, someone appreciated you, Jewel. I told you I'm not the only one.
Good, good. I'm glad.
Okay, Sajjad Wali is saying, please also discuss about a resume. Yes, we covered in the last session.
Yes.
Find it on this one, or maybe if you're reading it on our GCE Foundation, GSC Foundation, it will be right on the top of this video. Okay, that will be first, then the cover letter. Okay. Then Sajjad Ahmed saying, how are you, sir? Yeah, we are all good. Thank you so much for asking. Zahida Nawaz Minhas, so how are you and madam? Okay, they are asking me and you. Let me answer. We are always good. That's why we are on call with you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Always ask the question. Okay, that's more important than asking how are you. In fact, that's an illegal question to ask. I'm telling you right now because it hurts you to when you ask this question. Don't ask anybody how are you. Okay, so Abdul Zahir Khan say, okay, okay. I don't know what the okay mean. Did you get it? I have no idea what we're talking about. That both mean okay. So please say what you want to say there. Thank you so much. And Abbas Mohammed say, can we write difficult words or simple words in our department? Our officer appreciate difficult word letter. You know, I like a complex English, like a hard, literal dictionary word which you only read in dictionary, never use it in real life. That's what it really means. Use the simple words or like show it. Oh, I know English very well, so.
Do a mixture. Do a combination. I mean, if you're writing complicated words, you need to write the way that you speak. Now, every once in a while, don't we all like to use some complicated word? Sure, but every sentence out of our mouth is not a 5-syllable word. So remember at not the beginning, but during the course of this program, I talked about showing your humanity, showing your personality. Write the way that you speak. And most people speak with a longer, more complex word every once in a while. Just because you're writing a letter doesn't mean that you need to showcase, every long word you've ever heard of in your life, because it's not the way that you speak. Write the way that you speak.
Thank you so much. And you mentioned about the word humanity. Here's the question on humanity. See, you guessed it already. What should people do to support all humanity? Let me answer that one. Whatever you know, try to help someone else with that. That's why we are on this call. Is that right, Jill?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, in your own capacity. You don't have to come with the best of the best. You don't have to be the president of the United States to help someone. Whatever you can do in your own capacity, just do it. Okay, that's why we are here for. So Abdul Zahir Khan says we should know why we have born and what's the purpose of life. Yeah, that we are still trying to figure it out, that one, because we are still a student ourselves. It's a very deep question and we don't have that much time on this one. And that's not related to cover letter. I told you, you can ask any question on the topic. That's more important. Thank you so much though. Great. Thank you for coming in. Hadayat say nice. And Sajjad Wali says, what are the main components of cover letter? Yes, you need to watch all over again. In fact, you may have to watch this one 3 times, by the way. So because first time you will capture something, second time you will capture something more and then more, and that's how you're going to cement everything together. Write that down what you're going to learn, and that helps you a lot. So, Jewel, as always, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Global Social Entrepreneurship Foundation and its entire community. We really, really appreciate you. And this is Mohammed Siddiq signing off from Atlanta, Georgia, wishing you good luck, good sales, and a happy job hunting with the knowledge from our one and only one, Jewel Bracy DeMaio. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.